The Gravemind is a central intelligence of the Flood and is a terrifying foe, even for Master Chief. So today we're going to discuss the likelihood of the Gravemind returning along with the Flood, of course, Cortana fighting or even joining the Flood, and an epic conclusion with all these ideas in mind. So stay tuned, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Hello everyone, this is Chris here on HaloFollower. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm gonna once again remind you guys about Hurricane Harvey. There's a link down in the description with all the different ways you can help. And yes, of course, I know it's been like a week, but there is still tons of flooding, tons of people that need your help. So please check it out, do what you can, and I'm sure that will all be appreciated. Thank you guys.
Relax. I'd rather not piss this thing off.
Demon.
So every Gravemind starts out as a proto-Gravemind, a flood form made of more and more matter and life forms. Eventually, it grows into a mass, gains more intelligence and memories from consumed prey, eventually forming into a self-aware, one consciousness flood, the proto-Gravemind. Now, Graveminds are also likely to acquire knowledge of the one before them. Mendicant Bias described the Graveminds as a single intelligence inhabiting multiple instances and calling himself a compound intelligence consisting of 1,000 billion coordinated minds inhabiting as many bodies as circumstances require. So how likely is a new Gravemind along with the Flood returning in Halo 6? Well, with the Flood confirmed to have survived on the Ark as shown in Halo Wars 2 DLC Awakening Nightmare, it's certainly possible a new proto-Gravemind is alive somewhere, perhaps actively rebuilding itself under the Ark searching for more food, as the Banished may be its target for more biomass. So what does a new or old Gravemind mean for the Halo series now? Well, a very long time ago in the Halo lore during the Foreigner Flood War, as a last-ditch effort, the Foreigners created a very powerful AI, Mendicant Bias, whom eventually was convinced by Gravemind to destroy his creators, the Foreigners. Now, this was more than likely due to the fact that Logic Plague, the Gravemind setup, used to confuse Mendicant and do his bidding. Now, this may tie in with Cortana, and we'll talk about that later, but if there is a new Gravemind coming to Halo, that means that the Flood is rapidly growing, and this will mean big trouble for everyone and anyone to take the Flood on. So as many of you may know, the Flood are incredibly challenging and almost annoying to get rid of, even in gameplay. So much that the Foreigners themselves had to do a galactic restart just to set them up, and even then, the Flood still survived. The Halo rings, of course, were created because of all this. Cortana has seen the Flood firsthand, and she will more than likely consider the very drastic importance of getting rid of them as soon as possible. So perhaps Cortana must capture Chief in a cryptum or somewhere that he can be safe before she fires the rings, wiping out the galaxy, including the Flood. But this conflict of Cortana having to capture Chief to make sure he's safe so she can wipe out the Flood would be a very interesting story for Halo 6. So in Halo 3, the Gravemind temporarily allied with Chief and the Arbiter to stop the Covenant from firing the Halo rings, which would of course destroy them as well as the Flood. So perhaps something similar will happen when trying to stop Cortana, and if she plans to use the Halo rings. That little cutscene at the end of Halo 5 sure makes us assume so. Most of us are quick to assume that the Flood are going to be the bad guys in Halo 6 if they do appear, and rightfully so. I mean, they're the Flood. But what if the story is completely flipped and turned around? What if the Gravemind and the Flood are the only things that can destroy Cortana? After all, if she finds Chief, she may just pull the plug and fire the rings, killing all life, including the Flood. Very interesting things could happen in the story following Halo 5. So we are in the realm of speculation, and it only makes sense for us to, well, make assumptions about Halo 6, a game that doesn't quite exist yet. But many of us, including myself for a while, assumed one major thing about Halo 6, and that is Cortana and the Flood are on opposite sides. Let me explain. At the end of Halo 2, Cortana had extended exposure to the Gravemind's manipulation, and we saw the aftermath of this in Halo 3. And then in Halo 4, Cortana began to show signs of rampancy, and yet not many of us considered how this may have changed Cortana in Halo 5.
I will not allow you to leave this planet!
If we look back at Halo 3's gameplay, these moments were annoying as hell, but for videos like this, they are very informing, at the very least.
Do not be afraid. I am peace. I am salvation.
You'll be safe inside this cryptum until my work is done.
The Gravemind says, "Do not be afraid, I am peace, I am salvation." And more disturbingly, he says,
Collection of lies, that's all I am. Stolen thoughts and memories.
And yet, perhaps a part of her remains.
And yet, perhaps a part of her remains. Cortana then follows by laughing. I spoke about this before in 6 craziest but possible Halo 6 theories video. It's definitely worth a watch. I'll leave a link in the description down below. But what a twist it would be for Cortana actually allowing the Flood into the galaxy, or even assisting the Gravemind to release chaos and plague the galaxy. Most of this is speculation, but considering the evidence and the current direction of the story, my conclusion is this. Cortana discovers the parasite exists. She seeks out Chief to put him in a cryptum somewhere safe and perhaps begin mass evacuation for a safe haven from the ring's blast, and the safe haven is then ran over by the Flood. Cortana fails to save the safe haven or Master Chief, and the Gravemind full-on puppets Cortana, takes control of her mind, and it becomes obvious Cortana is still rampant. But perhaps there is still a piece of her that isn't crazy, which could be a major plot twist by the end of the story. So guys, how do you feel about this? I want to hear all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Give me everything. Do you think Cortana has been affected by the logic plague? Do you think that the Gravemind should return in Halo 6? Let me know. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out our other Halo 6 videos, and of course help out Hurricane Harvey victims if you can. Alright, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out guys.